Hey there, good evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Whitney Ward and Mark Hanrahan are off this evening. Let's get straight to breaking news. 2 Idaho healthcare workers experienced severe allergic reactions after getting the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine.
Yeah, so here's what we know. Both had a known history of getting severe reactions after receiving an injectable medication. One healthcare worker is fully recovered while the other is in the hospital. They are expected to be discharged today.
So when it comes to where in Idaho this happened, this is what we know. One was in Treasure Valley and the other one was in North Idaho. Now there are 2 healthcare districts in northern Idaho. District 1, Panhandle, and District 2, North Central. Panhandle Health has confirmed that the reaction did not happen within their district, which means it happened in either Latah, Clearwater, Nez Perce, Lewis, or Idaho County.
The medical director for the Idaho Division of Public Health addressed the news in a statement. The director said in part, "In light of these events, we are concerned about the risk to people with such a history and recommend that anyone with a history of severe reaction or anaphylaxis to any vaccine or injectable therapy defer taking this vaccine until more is known." Right now, both incidents are being investigated.
And in other breaking news, President Donald Trump is asking Congress for an amended COVID-19 relief package. He wants $2,000 instead of $600 for each American. Last night, Congress approved a second round of stimulus checks, but now President Trump says he's not going to sign the bill if the changes are not made. He is demanding that stimulus checks of $600 for each American be increased to $2,000 for each American. The president's comments came in a 4-minute video posted to Twitter.
It's taken forever. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace.
President Trump also criticized the inclusion of billions of dollars directed to foreign governments and other things that he called wasteful. He claimed that if Congress doesn't act to increase payments for average Americans, then the next administration would have to do it. And today, the Spokane Regional Health District is reporting 285 new COVID-19 cases, and there is 1 new death. Today, bringing the total number of deaths to 335 since the start of the pandemic. 62 Spokane County residents are still in the hospital.
Today, the Panhandle Health District is reporting 329 new COVID-19 cases. There have been 0 new deaths reported today. 95 people are in the hospital.
And one of the largest fines related to COVID-19 in Washington state history has been issued to Geber Farms. According to the Department of Labor and Industries, the company violated COVID-19 protocols multiple times this year, and now they're going to have to pay more than $2 million as a result.
So KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones has the latest on this developing story.
Geber's Farms has nearly 4,500 employees. Most of the people that live in Brewster work for the company. It's a small town in central Washington, and at the beginning of this pandemic, they were all deemed essential employees. They pick, box, and supply apples across the entire country. Earlier this year, state officials reached out to Geber's about health and safety violations. According to the Department of Labor and Industries, an investigation began when they received anonymous phone calls about work conditions and people dying from the virus.
We take this job seriously. No one should have to go to work and then not come home, or come home sick and spread an illness to their family and others. It should never happen.
A majority of the employees are migrant workers that come from countries in Central America. They're provided with housing, but oftentimes many workers are housed in the same building with little space to social distance. One of the callers actually said they feared hundreds of workers at his camp had the coronavirus.
So our last interaction with them, they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. Unfortunately, it took us coming out, opening an inspection, and looking into it to find that.
During the investigation, it was confirmed that a 37-year-old temporary worker from Mexico died on July 8th. LNI says Geber's failed to report the death within 8 hours as required. Later in the month, a 63-year-old worker from Jamaica collapsed and died. The cause of both deaths was determined to be caused from COVID-19.
There's nothing more important to Geber's Farms than our workers' health and safety.
Representatives from Gebers told me it's been a tough year.
Yeah, it is disappointing, and we do disagree with the state's assessment. We believe that the COVID prevention program we developed in consultation with an infectious disease specialist met the public health goals.
Representatives from Gebers told me it's been a tough year navigating all of the protocols, but they're committed to putting employees' health first. They've been following state regulations since July and plan to appeal the recent fine. From Brewster, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Well, in Washington, with the approval of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine, the state will receive more doses. Now, the state is receiving vaccines from both Pfizer and Moderna. Combined, Washington is getting close to 180,000 doses of the vaccines this week. The Washington State Hospital Association says 44,850 Pfizer doses and 128,000 Moderna doses are expected. The Pfizer doses will go mainly to hospitals with specialized freezers.
But the Moderna vaccines are more easily stored, so they're going to go to more than just hospitals. They're going to go to public health departments, primary care facilities, and private medical groups. This news comes after the number of Pfizer vaccines coming to Washington was cut by 40% due to not enough being ready for distribution. And today, the nation's top infectious disease expert, there he is right there, Dr. Anthony Fauci, rolled up his sleeve and got a COVID-19 vaccine. He received a dose of the Moderna vaccine. Dr. Fauci explained how meaningful it was to receive the vaccine after being a member of the National Institutes of Health for so many years.
What we're seeing now is the culmination of years of research which have led to a phenomenon that has truly been unprecedented. And that is to go from the realization that we're dealing with a new pathogen, a virus that was described in January of this year, to less than 1 year later, to have vaccines that are going into the arms of so many people, including myself. And so I consider it an honor to be part of this process.
Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar and the head of the National Institute of Health, Dr. Francis Collins, also received the vaccine. All right, let's talk weather now. Sunshine filled the Spokane skies today after what seemed like a long time with cloudy and gray skies. And I was so glad to see the sunshine this afternoon. So, Tom, is the sun here to stay?
It is for the next couple of days, and then we've got a chance of some snow as we start heading into the weekend. And we had very warm temperatures and windy conditions yesterday, but now we're going to see a return to more normal winter temperatures. We're already down to 33 degrees tonight, and it's going to get much colder. Winds are out of the northwest at 6 miles per hour, as you can see. Some of the highest wind speeds from midnight on, 44 mile an hour wind gust in Spokane, 48 in Pullman. Remember, we had that wind advisory through late last night. 40 mile per hour winds in Coeur d'Alene. Deer Park had 43 mile per hour wind gusts. You take a look at the current radar, very quiet right now, again, and it will remain quiet over the next several days. So decreasing clouds, becoming mostly clear overnight. Of course, when you have clear skies, you get something called radiational cooling. Think of that, it's like a blanket on top of you. When you don't have the cloud cover, there's no blanket. So any of the heat that we've stored here at the surface just radiates back out into space. So that's why we look for a low of 20. Northern valleys tonight, you're going to drop down into the teens. We'll look for partly cloudy and seasonal temperatures on your Wednesday with a daytime high of 35. We check out the weekend forecast. Snow develops late Christmas night into Saturday. Saturday's high 36. Should be dry and mostly cloudy on Sunday. We'll look for a daytime high of 37 degrees. I'll check your 10-day forecast coming up in a couple of minutes.
Looking forward to that, Tom. Thanks so much. Well, some North Idaho teachers noticed a student's wheelchair was having a difficult time moving around the playground. Next, the heartwarming story of how students stepped up to help bring some ease to their classmate.